The SP Wubai has been vertical for 6 weeks straight. And if you think this party is over because of one boring government inflation report, you are about to get left behind on the tarmac. History is screaming at us right now that this is just the beginning of a much larger cycle, and today I am going to show you exactly where the institutional money is flowing while the amateurs are panic selling their positions. I do this every single week, so if you are not already a subscriber, you need to hit that button right now so you do not miss the specific ticker symbols I am buying before they hit the moon. Let's look at the SP Wudian chart because today was an absolute psychological roller coaster for anyone with a weak stomach or a thin brokerage account. The market gapped down hard this morning on the news that the CPI inflation rate rose 9% in April and the sell-off didn't stop until the lunch break. But then something beautiful happened as the institution stepped in and bought the dip until we recovered almost every single penny of those morning losses. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics loves to make this stuff look like a high school chemistry textbook. But the reality is that 7% inflation is being driven by gasoline and oil prices. But the market recovery today is a massive sign of strength because it proves that nothing can hold this index back. Not inflation, not high interest rates, and not geopolitical tension in the Middle East. We are making new all-time highs despite every reason in the book for the market to crash. And that is exactly the kind of environment where you want to be aggressively invested. If you look at our industry strength indicator, which tracks the top Sysmouse UBEB sectors of the market, you can see that semiconductors have been on an absolute tear lately. Companies like Intel are up over 9% in just 2 months, and AMD has doubled its valuation, which means these names are getting dangerously stretched and ready for a pullback. I am not interested in chasing a stock that has already gone vertical, because that is how you end up holding the bag while the big guys take their profits. Instead, I am looking at the sectors that are just starting to wake up from a long sleep like crypto and digital payments, which have suffered through a brutal crypto winter. These sectors are finally rising up the ranks and becoming leaders over the last 30 days. Which brings me to the first stock I am buying right now, which is Coinbase. Coinbase is the ultimate gateway for the crypto market, and when Bitcoin and Ethereum start surging, it means more accounts are being opened and more commissions are being generated. If you overlay the Bitcoin price chart with the Coinbase stock chart, they move just about lock, stock, and barrel with each other through every single peak and valley. Bitcoin is currently rounding out a massive bottom formation, and Coinbase is setting up to follow suit with a breakout above the RYLDIM to RYLW dollar range. I want to see the stock absorb all that overhead supply and form a shallow rounded bottom, which is the classic signature of a major trend reversal. If we get a clean break above RYLDIM dollars, I am targeting the RTWU range for my first profit take, and then looking at a big target of CEN-RDIM to CEN-SADIN dollars. I am placing my stop loss at the recent lows because we have the Shujian Day and Wushujian Day moving averages, acting as a safety net underneath the price action right now. The second stock I am adding to my portfolio is in the rare earth metals sector, which is currently the leading group in the entire market over the last 12 months. The ticker symbol is TRX, which is Tronox Holdings, and it currently has a relative strength rating of Joshido each means it is outperforming Joshido% of all stocks. I am looking for high RS leaders that give us a small window of weakness so we can buy the pullback instead of chasing the breakout. Like a degenerate, TRX has a sloppy but effective rounded bottom formation, and it just broke out into a new Stage 2 uptrend with massive volume support. My golden rule for these strong Stage 2 breakouts is to always buy the first touch of the Wushujian Day simple moving average after a major run. Notice how back in March the price just kissed that Wushujian Day line and then surged to new highs, and right now we are sitting right on top of that line again. The stock is currently trading around Badian CBA after hours, and I can risk about C% on this trade with a stop loss set firmly at Badian EWU to protect my capital. They just reported earnings last Wednesday, and the stock held its ground while consolidating, which tells me that the sellers are exhausted and the buyers are in control. I wanted to wait until the market closed today to see how the candle finished, because if a stock closes at its daily lows, the odds of more selling tomorrow are incredibly high. But since the index has recovered, I feel much more confident about placing a market on open order for ETNS hairs when the bell rings tomorrow morning. I am not going to buy this post-market because the bid-ask spread is wider than a canyon, and I am not going to let some market maker sucker me into a bad fill. Now, I do not want to scare anyone because the bull market is clearly still in effect, but I would be a bad friend if I didn't tell you that we are getting a bit extended. If you look at the SP Wudian on a logarithmic scale, we are approaching the upper band of the long-term trend where things usually start to stall out. Since the lows on March th, the entire SP index is up 60%, which is a massive move for the largest equity market on the planet in such a short time. I am not calling for a crash, but a small pullback or a period of sideways hesitation would be a healthy development for the long-term sustainability of this move. Because of this extension, I am sizing down my positions to about half of my normal trade size just to keep some dry powder ready for a better opportunity. Instead of my usual RSI lean dollar swing trade, I am going into these with about shooting dollars because I want to stay in the game without being overexposed. You need to adjust your own numbers based on your account size, whether you are moving from RD to YALD or from whoosh dollars down to RSHA Woo. The goal is to survive the volatility so you can thrive during the trend, and that requires a level of discipline that most retail investors simply do not have. If you find this dry, hard truth helpful, then be sure to join my inner circle, because for $5 a year, it is the best investment you will ever make in your financial education. You get my live weekly sessions, my indicator, and access to my team because I want to see you win against the machines and the algorithms. I am watching the tape every day, and I am seeing the same patterns that made me a fortune in Sen, and repeat themselves right now, and Don't let the noise of the news cycle distract you from the signal of the price action, because the charts never lie, even when the politicians do. Inflation might be sticky, but the human drive for innovation and profit is even stickier, and that is what drives the stock market higher over the long run. I am drinking my cheap home brewed coffee today because every dollar I save on a latte is a dollar I can put into TRX or Coinbase to work for my future. I don't need a fancy car or a gold watch to feel successful. I just need to see those green bars on my screen and know that my net worth is growing while I sleep. The transition from a consumer mindset to an owner mindset is the single most important shift you will ever make in your life. If you are still working a Joe Jan to Woo job that you hate, then you should be obsessed with finding these setups and building your exit ramp out of the rat race. I will let you know how these two trades work out in my update video next week, so make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss the entry. Investing is a marathon and not a sprint, and the people who try to get rich overnight are usually the ones who end up broke by morning. Stay patient, stay disciplined, and keep your emotions out of your brokerage account because the market does not care how you feel about a stock. I am going to keep sharing these Genhua insights with you because I remember what it was like to be starting out and feeling like the system was rigged against me. It isn't rigged, it is just complicated. And once you learn the language of the charts, you can navigate it just like the big players on Wall Street. I appreciate every single one of you who tunes in and treats this like the serious business that it is, because your financial future depends on it. Go ahead and check those charts for yourself and see if you agree with my assessment of the rounded bottom on Coinbase and the Wushijan Day bounce on TRX. Do your own research and never take anyone's word as gospel, because at the end of the day, it is your hard-earned money on the line. I'll see you in the next video where we will see if the bulls can keep this momentum alive, or if we are finally going to get that dip we've been waiting for. Keep your head on a swivel and your stops in place, and let's go out there and take what is ours from this market. The trend is your friend until the very end. And right now, the trend is screaming that higher prices are coming for those who are brave enough to buy. Thanks for watching, and remember that the best time to start investing was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. This minute, I am out of here to go review my watch list for tomorrow morning, and I hope you are doing the exact same thing to prepare for the open piece.